Hi, my name is Alyssa Kraft, and this is my assignment 5. Here on the screen is my unit plan that I put together. It's a unit over dairy products and processing for my food science and technology class. Um, I kind of had some of these activities done. I taught this class last year, but I changed it quite a bit and hopefully made some improvements. After I was done, it was interesting to go back right away and reflect and make suggestions and changes. And some things I decided to change was through this lab, or not this lab, this unit. We did do several labs and a lot of information that in food science and in that industry you would need to know, but not very much for the everyday consumer. Excuse me. And so I decided I might add some more, like a day or two of what does the everyday consumer need to know about dairy products? Like how do you read the codes on milk instead of just expiration dates? Is there really antibiotics in milk? What are the myths? What's the truth? And so that's one thing I would change would be to add some of those everyday life knowledge um, to it. Um, Another thing I would change is it's a roughly 11-day unit, which would probably end up being about 3 weeks of class at least. And so maybe doing a mid-unit assessment. I have a big summative unit test at the end, but to maybe do a quiz partway through to keep those kids' memory going. And then I didn't have any projects in here that were in groups other than the labs, but not a lot of just two kids talking about something. And so my colleague that looked at it actually suggested that to, instead of me constantly do informative assessment, have them pair up and have them do it for each other. One of the questions we were supposed to answer was, do activities involve complex real world application? I do think some of the stuff is very complex. We talk a lot about food chemistry in this unit. We talk about homogenization and pasteurization, and a lot of those are very complex issues. One way I introduced this was how Abe Lincoln's mother died of milk poisoning. And so we talk about how without those processes, how our world would be very different. And the real world application, we talk a lot about careers in this unit. Everyone has some kind of dairy products, unless they're lactose intolerant or something, but it's an everyday thing that is everywhere. And so I do think there's a lot of real world application. We actually learn how to make cottage cheese and we make homemade ice cream in this unit. And so I do think that it is real world. And then I kind of wrap it up at the end by doing careers in this industry. But like I said in my improvements, maybe add some more real world application that is just everyday people not working in the industry. Another question, do assessments show evidence of learning? My formative assessments are mostly to make sure that they've done the work. We do a bar graph here on this milk products lab, and that would show us results. My summative assessments, like these lab sheets and conclusions, they're going to have to write, did it work and why did it work? And so I think that really checks for understanding, because if they can't explain why it worked, they didn't learn. So yes, I do think my assessments do show learning. And then, can students self-assess and reflect? Those conclusions incorporate a lot of the previous information. And so I think that kind of is a self-assessment for them while they're doing those. But that might be an area that I could maybe do a little better of, is having them think about their own learning and make them more responsible for it. So I'm looking forward to your comments back. Thank you.